Dear Lions, dear Dr. Patti Hill, dear guests, it's a pleasure to see all of you here. And I have to say I'm honored to be able to welcome you here in our district today. I met you when I was attending Europe Forum in Skopje in 2018. And you were the first who were really able to tell the story about GATT. And to be honest, I will never forget it, because I've really been struggling with the GATT story. But you could tell it in a way so that we could go home and say, but this is how it is. You know, it's the activities we need to do, and then we need the membership. We need members to be able to do the activities. And of course, these members need to be qualified. So of course, we need to have education to be able to make them even better in what they had to do. Then I met you again in Milan when you were elected. I was part of the campaign. Was running around with the sign, "Yes, Patti." It was so fun, and actually it was a good experience. First convention for me, I'll never forget it. But yeah, it was a pleasure. And then I am now able to serve as district governor under you, 23-24. It's an honor, and I'm really pleased to say that I'm going to change the world with you, definitely. So please help me welcome Patti Hill.
Thank you so much.
To do three things this evening. First, I want to just touch on the priorities that our association has endorsed for this year. Number two, I want to talk about our Mission 1.5. And then I want to have some time for questions and answers. And if you don't have any questions, don't worry, because I do. So that's my plan for this evening. So let me begin with the priorities that have been adopted for our year, serving together as a governor, as a president, as your role within your Lions Club. Michael told me he doesn't have a role this year. I disagree. We all have a role in our clubs. We all have a role in making our communities a better place. So we all have a role in changing the world. So everybody can be a participant.
So our purpose in Lionism is service. That's the only reason we exist. Well, socializing and fellowship, but we come together because of service. Am I right? It's about service. Service is our purpose, but people are our power. Right? What makes us so strong is our people. So, service. We want that to be a priority this year, and within our strategic plan, it has been planned for 4 years now that this year would focus on the environment. And isn't that great? Because you planned that as well. When you did your own internal survey and you said, what should we be focused on? You chose the environment. I'm very happy that I happen to be in this year focusing on the environment. I might visit where you still get a plastic straw in your drink. And I asked them, please don't bring me the plastic straw, right? And I don't need to use things unnecessarily. All of us can make those small choices. All of us can be part of the educational movement. And all of us can advocate for our governments or our corporate partners or other NGOs to keep. The second priority is that we really must reach our service potential. And to highlight this, I will just ask, who can guess how many people are alive on the planet right now?
7.8.
I'm sorry?
7.8 billion?
7.8? You're a little low.
10? No, 8 point. I think it was November last year, we turned over 8 billion.
Yes, we did turn over 8 billion last year. I think the latest count I could find was 8.3 billion people. And how many lions serving the needs do we have?
1.4.
1.4, isn't that a nice number? We all know that number. How many of you are past district governors? Okay, in the year that you were governor, how many lions did we have? 1.4. 1.4. Is there anyone here from, I don't know, 30 years ago? Were you governor in 1993? No, okay.
Before that.
That, 93, 94, was the year that we reached 1.4 million lions. 30 years ago. Wow, we were, more people were joining, more people were happy to be lions. The graph kept going up and up, and since then, it's gone like this. A little wavy line, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And 30 years later, we are still at 1.4 million lions serving the needs in our world. How many people were on Earth in 1994? I know, you didn't look it up beforehand. 5.5 million. Billion. We have 3 billion extra people, and you see the problem here. The needs are growing. The needs in our communities are complex. And we have needs now that we didn't even talk about in the 90s. We didn't even talk about them 10 years ago. We weren't talking about the crisis of anxiety among young people 15 years ago. We weren't talking about some of the challenges elders are facing 15 years ago. We have all these new challenges, but we haven't grown our capacity to meet the needs. So this year, we are asking every district to grow. Not because I want to get to the end of my year with Thomas, with Fritz, and go, we have a higher number. That's not the reason. The reason is we want to get to the point where our service capacity means that we can serve 1 billion people a year. The third priority is that we have to share our story. I tell you, when I was first asked to be a lion, I wasn't so sure about that idea because I really didn't know what they did. Or I had only 1 or 2 ideas what they did, and quite frankly, they were just a bunch of old men getting together for lunch. I knew that, for sure. I'd been to the lunch. Only as a guest, because women weren't allowed then. But we need to share the story. How does someone with relatives looking for hospice know about hospice if they don't know that the Lions support that? How do they know about the opportunity for youth exchange if they don't know that's what Lions do? How do they know about the opportunity for young people to stop being at home, suffering anxiety and FOMO? We all know what FOMO is. Fear of missing out. They can't put their phones down because they might miss an important post. Right? Okay. If they, as a psychologist, I can tell you, I told the mayor today, one of the #1 effective proven therapies for depression is volunteering. It's volunteering. So if we don't tell young people, yes, you could come and help in our community. Yes, you could be a Leo. Yes, you could be a part of our next project. If we don't tell young adults, or even older adults who might be suffering from depression or anxiety, that they can feel better the minute they start helping someone else. The minute their internal perspective shifts from my problems to someone else's problems, therapy begins. The minute that people, young people especially, suffering from low self-esteem or insecurity, the minute they realize they could change someone's life by taking that senior for a stroll through the park, by helping them with their groceries, the minute they know that they can have a positive impact, their self-esteem goes up. So we need to share our story. We need to share our story if we take out an ad in the local paper, if we put up a poster on a community bulletin board, if it's on Facebook. You won't find many young people there. Go to Instagram or X or whatever is the newest thing that replaced Snapchat. But we need to share our story. I'm guilty. I used to maybe go to Skopje for the weekend for the Europa Forum, and on Monday I would magically be back at work in Canada. And they would say, "What did you do on the weekend?" I say, "I went to a Lions event." "Oh, nice. Well, let's start the 9 o'clock meeting." I was missing opportunities. I wasn't saying, "Oh, I was at this incredible leadership opportunity where we exchange." I wasn't sharing the story. So that's priority number 4 is to support our foundation. There is no one in this room who needs lessons on why we support LCIF. But for new Lions hearing the message, it's important for them to be encouraged to learn about why we support LCIF. Why are those grants here so important? Why are the grants matching services for the Ukraine so important? There has never been a better time to educate new Lions or non-Lions about why they should give their donations and their efforts to LCIF, why they should come out to your gala dinner. So those are the 4 priorities. And we said we have to make this a priority. And we know that right now, clubs in some areas are struggling. Members who never came back to us after the pandemic. Clubs that may be closed. So we did a SWOT analysis, a strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats analysis. Now we ask that every Lion participate in your district or your club's own global membership approach, where you do the process. You build a team, that might be the whole club, or it might be all your zone chairs, however you build your team. Then you build a vision. How do you get clarity on your vision? You do this analysis. And we did this, and then we said to the board of directors, you probably thought you came to the board meeting just to sit around and look at your committee work, but you're wrong. We're putting you to work. And we put all the directors in a room together for several hours, and we said, tell us our strengths, tell us our weaknesses, and we're going to get to the opportunities and threats. And they did, from every part of the world. And they said, really, Lions are about service, leadership, and membership. Am I right? Okay. They said, service, we are great. Check mark. We're not so great about reporting it, but we'll talk about that. We're great at doing service. Leadership training. How many of you have enjoyed being at a leadership institute or your district governor training or any other training, the forums? Yeah, leadership. Check mark. We're pretty good at that. Yes, we should get more people to go, but we'll take care of that. Membership. Not so good. So we said we have to focus. We can't just focus on service. We already know our clubs are pretty good at that. We don't need to focus on leadership. We need to focus as the leaders on membership. And we need to get to 1.5. We said we're going to analyze this. We're going to look at the trends. Some countries are growing, some aren't. So one size does not fit all. So every Every multiple district has their own plan. And it's based on your trends, it's based on your potential. You know, do I look at a city of 2 million people and discover it has only one club in it? Ooh, there's an opportunity, right? And so this is the analysis that was undertaken. And then instead of asking the governors, what do you think you can do this year? We had already done the statistical work, so we said, here's what you're going to do this year. And then we negotiated and tweaked it a bit. But all of our efforts are going to be focused on helping our clubs strengthen and grow their service base. And in the past, the Global Action Team reported to the area leaders of GAT, and they reported to the constitutional area leaders who reported to a past president. And the board said, no, that's no good. And so the executive officers, we sat and I said, you know, we asked the governors and the vice governors to be responsible for your district goals. I mean, if the district goals don't happen, who am I going to call? I'm going to call you, Thomas, and I have your phone number. So if our global goals don't happen, who's responsible? Me. So I'm responsible. And the vice presidents have been given responsibility for certain areas of the world. When I say responsibility, I mean it's their job to support. If they hear that you're struggling with a particular strategy, it's not working in your area, it's their job to bring that back and tell the board we might need to change materials, resources, problems. One of the problems today is that, you know, a Leo can't be added to a district cabinet on my, you know, I mean, there are things we can fix, right? If that's going to help you.
With that, I'm well over time. And so I will close my comments for this evening with thanking you so very much for coming out this evening. It's not that often I get to speak to a room filled entirely with experienced leaders.